The meeting room carried a quiet tension, broken only by the voices of leaders engaged in a conversation heavy with both symbolism and urgency. Cameras rolled, but what mattered most were the words exchanged, fragments that revealed determination, vulnerability, and the weight of war. It began with a statement that reflected both resilience and warning. One voice captured the tone of the moment: prison's coming. Look at it, coming. The words hung in the air, sharp, almost prophetic, reminding those present that conflict was not just a distant threat, but something looming, unavoidable, and real. The discussion quickly turned to Ukraine, the heart of the current struggle. The president, speaking with a blend of candor and reflection, admitted the significance of the nation's ordeal. All this attacks being in Ukraine because I think this is so important, and I'm stupid that the fire was 3 days there at the second. No one was hurt. His words were not polished but honest, painting a picture of chaotic survival amid relentless strikes. It was a reminder that while physical destruction is visible, the unseen resilience of a people can be just as powerful. A pause followed, broken by the confirmation of another participant. Yeah. It was simple, almost understated, but in that brevity lay the acknowledgement of truth, recognition that Ukraine's suffering and survival deserved validation. The president went on, continuing with a remark that captured the essence of war's unpredictability, and that they all got hit by. The thought trailed off, incomplete, but it conveyed enough. The audience understood. Destruction had arrived, leaving scars both physical and psychological. Yet amid the devastation, there was gratitude. A Ukrainian voice addressed the American guest directly, emphasizing the importance of solidarity. Mr. President, we finally have great representative of United States in our country. The statement carried layers of meaning, diplomatic recognition, political reassurance, and personal relief. It was more than courtesy. It was an acknowledgement that Ukraine was no longer standing alone. The response from the U.S. side came with equal weight, delivered in straightforward honesty. Yes, we speak like people, and I think this is important. It's important just to speak to understand each other. Yes, we have to. In these words, diplomacy shed its usual stiffness. It was not about policy papers or formal communiques. It was about human connection. In a war that often feels dehumanizing, this exchange reminded both nations of the value of simply talking and listening. The conversation then shifted to the broader implications beyond war, economics, investment, and the fragile hope of rebuilding. With the same direct tone, the US leader asked, "Can you hear anything in your more? That's how we bring more investors." Okay. The sentence carried a pragmatic message. Survival is not only about resisting aggression, but also about ensuring a future worth surviving for. Investment, growth, and stability were just as crucial as weapons and military support. And then came the acknowledgement of what lay ahead. With a firm, almost resigned tone, the final statement offered both preparation and warning, and prepare for what comes next. The words were not dressed in optimism or dramatics. They were stark, real, and grounded in the reality of a war still unfolding. Another voice, quiet but steady, responded simply, "Yeah." In that single word rested agreement, shared understanding, and the recognition that the road ahead would be long, difficult, but necessary. This exchange, though fragmented, reflects the stark realities faced by Ukraine and its allies. Each statement, even in its brevity, tells a story. The early warning of prison and looming danger sets the stage for understanding the heavy atmosphere. When the president spoke of the attacks lasting for 3 days without casualties, it underscored both the destructive power of war and the resilience of those enduring it. The gratitude expressed to the American representative highlighted how crucial international solidarity has become for Kyiv. The war is not only fought on the battlefield, but also in diplomatic chambers, where words of reassurance and recognition strengthen the will to resist. Equally important was the reminder that nations must think beyond the immediacy of war. The talk of investors and preparation for what comes next shows that Ukraine's leaders are not only defending their land, but also imagining its recovery. Their vision stretches to reconstruction, to economic revival, and to ensuring that the sacrifices made are not for survival alone, but for a stronger future. The responses from the American side were telling. Stripped of formality, they reflected an effort to connect at a human level. "We speak like people," as said in the dialogue, became a moment where diplomacy and empathy overlapped In times of crisis, such human connections can forge stronger alliances than the most detailed policy documents. This brief yet powerful conversation paints a portrait of resilience, solidarity, and realism. From warnings of looming threats to gratitude for international presence, from the acknowledgement of shared humanity to the call for investment in the future, every phrase contributes to a larger narrative. The final exchange, "and prepare for what comes next," followed by "yeah," leaves the listener with a sobering realization. The war is far from over. The struggle is ongoing. And while words may provide comfort, it is action, resilience, and cooperation that will determine what truly comes next.